Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices, and starting with the Nasdaq here on the daily chart. What we want to point out here, of course, is that obviously from wave 4 here, we're looking for 5 waves to the upside in terms of intermediate wave 1 and 2. And we've been looking for a top here at intermediate wave 3, and we're looking for a correction back at 38.2% retracement level as wave 4 here. But one of the problems that we have, and we think that there's a good possibility that the S&P 500 can move higher first, is because this little pattern in here is in 3 waves. So an A and a B and a C wave here. Okay, so it could still, this market has moved up here, and where all those opens and closes are through here, obviously that's the resistance, and that's where it's hit at the moment. So it can fail from here and move down lower. But this is that pattern here, this 3-wave pattern here, at this stage is corrective. It looks corrective rather than a 5-wave structure to the downside. It could be a series of down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, and then building lower through here. That's a real possibility, but it's sitting there as a corrective pattern that can push the market higher. I've had a look at the Dow Jones here, just on the hourly chart here, and gone through its count here as 1 and 2 and 3 here and 4 here, and possibly can move up higher here. In terms of the Dow Jones anyway, this stage, this high here, this is a pattern at this level here, which is a minor level 2 within group 1. But it is a bit of a setup here because we've had the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, then a corrective move. So a new high above here or here or here, depending on this would be safer than this one, and this one would be safer than this one, and so on. But if this was going to move up, then that high there would be the trigger for that to move up. So with the Dow Jones, is it possible for it to move up? With the Nasdaq here, just looking at this particular pattern here, it has the ability to move up as well. If it was going to move up, then we'd need to be looking for 5 waves up here, then an ABC pattern here, and then another move up from that point there. So we have a little bit of time to study this scenario, which we will do on the S&P 500. So this is the S&P 500 here at the moment on the daily chart, and we were obviously looking for probable top in here with this. And this sharp move down here is really sort of, really put this particular move here into play here. But this little move here, for instance, that we've got here, if we put that in line with the tech stock here for a moment, I'll just bring these two charts over a little bit here. This one made a new little high here, and we called it in as wave 5 here. But in this case here, it never made a new high here. So really this could here, because the Nasdaq's been the one that's leading it higher. So this could actually be an A wave here, a B wave over here, and a C wave down to this point here as well. As a corrective pattern like this here, as an A wave here, B wave here, and a C wave here. So we just need to be a little bit more careful in this space here now, which we want to investigate. But I wanted to point out it's also possible to count this down here as an ABC in 3 waves as well, which we have done on our charts. But I can see that it can be counted as 5 waves or 3 waves. So I don't want to get fixed on that particular point too much. But there is scope for a market to move up. So from the daily chart here, I'll just go to the 4-hour chart and drill in a little bit. So, the move down here at first glance can be counted as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here. But I can also get 5 waves out of this too, which we're going to look at the tick chart. And you can do that on the cash market as well. But looking at the Nasdaq, it was actually possible to call this an A wave here, a B wave here, and then 5 waves down for the C wave here. It's also possible to call this down in 3 waves here. Obviously the supply is up here. I know with group 2 here, if we get support on top of the 72 here, then you need to be on the long side of the market. This little move up through here so far can be counted as 3 waves moving up here as well. So I'll just go to the tick chart to look at that. So on the, using this as a high here, this is where it sort of originally came from, the move down I can see is wave 1 and back for wave 2, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the 3rd wave, and then back for the 4th wave, and then down for the 5th wave here. So I can count 5 waves down here. So we were looking for a 50-60% retracement level, so 50 and 61.8% in this box here, and it can be counted up here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here, and topping out here. So it's possible for this to break lower through here. I would expect it to move down lower through here because this particular pattern here is in 3 waves, but it might just break lower here and then reverse back up through here. So I need to be a little bit careful. This is group 2 here. So what I wanted to point out here is a couple of things, is that this top here, this green line here, if that's breached, you need to go long. This is already sort of had its little retest in here, so one would be, this had moved through, this 65, 72 and 80 is group 2. So I can see this has moved through here and then retested here and then dropped lower. So that would have been the short trade through here with the stop loss above here. So if you're short there, then that would be fine already. But now you need to wait for this to develop a little bit further here if you're not in there already. So because it can just be down through here as an A wave here, ABC for the B wave here, and then down for the C wave coming into this spot here. So if it was going to come down, it's going to hit the 60 here and then bounce off that point. So the next short trade here, to be safe, if I can, oops, just want to move that. So we want to put this, I can't move this further over here, it's been unfortunate. But basically, let's just say that if the 60 becomes the retested resistance, then you can be short from that point. Okay, on the bullish side of things, I mean, this is the low here on this market here, but on the cash market, it counts up as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5. So on the cash, it can count as 5 waves in this move up here. So we'd look at that as wave 1, and of course wave 2 here. This is obviously the long, strong wave 3 here, and then this would be the A, the B, and the C for wave 4 here, and then moving up here higher for wave 5. So this, if I take this low here and put it on top of wave 3 here, that's the 38.2% at 24.60 here. So it's quite welcome to drop down onto that. And like I said, if the 60 becomes the retested resistance, well then look to short it from that point. Okay, that would be the logical step. If it comes down to the 60 and bounces back up and gets support on top of the 85 here, then you can also bring that down lower onto this little high here and go long from that point there. But do understand that the extension is in wave 3 here, so that means that wave 1 and wave 5 would be roughly the same length here. So if we take this to this point here, and then we can just copy that segment there. If I put it on the 60 area here, then that's where it's going to come to at that point. So we can just bring that down into there. We'd probably use the 80, you know. So in that space there. So once that comes into play, then we would need to, if we get this 5 waves up to that point, if we do, just be mindful, then we'll get an A and a B and a C correction here. So we would look for that, and we'd also look for that in terms, it doesn't have to be a 50-60% retracement level, but if we take that and put it, let's just take it to the 80 here, then it's possible for this to pull back into this space here, back into the 2450 area, the midpoint here. So it's an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here. But very often this won't pull back down here. It'll just come down to the fourth wave here and then move up from there. But just realizing that if this is a fourth wave for wave C here, then wave 5 here. If we get this, right, if we get that, that means we have 5 waves here. Then we're going to get some type of correction, either back into this space, into the 250 or to the 260, and then that would be the long trade on that side. It's a long trade on that side because we can confirm that we've got 5 waves here. At the moment with this, the reality is that we've got this as an A wave, this here as a B wave, and this here as a C wave coming into this space here. So really, it's pulled up to the 61.8% mark in 3 waves. So excuse me, it's highly possible for it to move back down through here, and that trigger would be 2460. On the long side, if it bounces off the 2460 and moves up, then you want to be long above the 2465 area here. And if you're long here, then 50% profit at the 72 and the rest of the profit at 2478, because 8 is always a profit taking number. And then you got 80 here. Then you can expect the ABC correction here to come into play. And then if it's going to be bullish, then you can look at Friday and Monday for this being bullish. Okay, so it's really about the setups, and we just got to trade what we see and call the intraday wave counts in as we see them. So there is a possible bullish count that we need to now consider. Okay, cheers.